So, hey, I'm here with Will Hrubes. How have you been doing?
Been doing well, man. Just doing a lot of schoolwork, staying active around the house, and yeah, just ready for this whole thing to be over. So I'm doing well.
All right, good to hear. So, you played a great season. You led Aurora men's basketball team in points per game with 13.4 points a game this year. You were named NAC Conference honorable mention. So, congratulations on that this season.
Thank you.
Of course. So, a lot of people would listen to what I just said and they maybe would consider that to be a down year. But you and your team went through like a lot of adversity. This year there was a new coach along with a new system put in place this year. You also had the red shirt the year before due to an ACL injury, and you were just kind of thrown into the fire with a lot of responsibility on you as a captain. So can you just elaborate on that for us?
Yeah, of course. Well, we had a great group of guys this year. A lot of close friendships and brotherhoods were formed. Obviously, with a new coach coming in, obviously it's going to be tough. A lot of growing pains, new system, everyone's kind of learning. But I think it was great for us because we all grew closer together as one unit. And I know a lot of people would think that Aurora basketball had a down year this year. But as crazy as it sounds, this year, was filled with so many brotherhoods being formed, and I was as close with all the guys as I've ever been a part of, really, with a team in the past. So I view it kind of in that perspective, not necessarily so much on the win and loss column, but more kind of like how much closer we got as a unit. But I mean, there's no doubt we could have definitely performed better in multiple games, and overall come up with a better record. But it was tough, getting to buy into a system, seeing how that system would work, and just kind of going from there. So, I mean, there were a lot of pros and cons to the season. Unfortunately, more cons, but there was just more to it. So that's what it is.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, just in the game of basketball in general, there's just, so many up and downs. So when people think of D3 basketball players, unfortunately, most time they look at you and they're like, oh, he's trash. And, you actually played at the D2 level before coming to playing at Aurora University. And then as well during your high school career, you went up against a lot of D1 talent and, you always performed. So what can you say to people out there who doubt like D3 basketball and D3 hoopers overall?
Well, I mean, it's a tough question because like a lot of people just buy into the hype of if you're going D1, you're obviously really good. If you're going Division two, then like you're a step below, and then obviously Division three. I don't really view it in that perspective. Obviously, you want to go where you have a really good fit. Education's top notch too. You want to go where you have a good fit, but you got to always just trust in yourself. To never buy into all the hype, but just trust your coaches, trust your family, your parents, your trainers, and listen to all their feedback and see what they have to say too. And eventually, you'll live with what comes up onto the table. But I mean, it's definitely different. I mean, from my experiences playing Division two from Division three, it is a little bit different. It's not too much different, but it's definitely different. But don't get me wrong, Division three is still insanely competitive. There's top-notch players in Division three, and it's a very, very competitive division. There are some conferences that are better than others, and obviously you can say that for all divisions. But there are very, very competitive Division three programs as well as very competitive Division two programs. Practice, all that stuff, it does not change. Whether it's Division one or Division three, I've seen some Division three programs do conditioning programs that Division one programs do. I've seen Division two programs do it similar to Division ones. It's all about that work that you put in and how much of a competitive mindset that you have towards it. So, I mean, like I said, there's definitely a little bit of a difference in terms of competition in the games. with Division II to Division III, but it really is not that much different. So for everyone that says, Division III, like if you go to Division III, like they're not good, stop it. I promise you. You go to a good Division III game, you see Division III talent, and you could almost say to yourself, oh, wow, he could go Division II, or wow, this program's really well coached, vice versa. This team plays so hard. The competition level, the fight, the grin, the I want to win, the competitive spirit, it does not change. And all these players work so hard, to get to the best of their abilities and, perform at a very high level and, they'll live with the results. But that's definitely what I have to say about that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you even see guys now like Devontae Friga and even one of the guys on overtime, Mikey. Both those guys played D3. They're now going to play pro overseas, and they talk about a lot. Sometimes people don't put the necessary respect on D3 guys, but as you mentioned, as somebody who played D3 for a season, there's really high levels of competition and stuff like that. So you kind of talked about it a little bit, but just like a little bit more. So you transferred from a D2 school and then came to a D3. So what was that transition like for you?
It was definitely tough. I mean, at my old school, I was fighting a lot of adversity with basketball. I had a really good friend base at Rockhurst. The social life was really good, and I was very well connected with the school. So it was very tough leaving Rockhurst. But in regards to basketball, my freshman year, I was behind a lot of guys at my position, so I was, waiting my turn. And, I was just continuing to work really, really hard to, earn opportunities to get out on the court, which I did some games, and then some games I didn't. But in the games where I did, I busted my tail. I made sure I gave it 110% for the coach, and then I just lived with what the results were. And then my sophomore year was a little bit different. We had kind of a new makeup of a team. I guess you could say it was sort of a rebuild, but after my sophomore year, I just kind of felt like it was best for me for a change in basketball, where I can enjoy playing it, as much as I did in high school. So it was good. It was good for my first 2 years at Rockhurst to really build my character, really grit some toughness in me to handle that adversity. And then ultimately, I decided that I wanted to change. And then I came up to Aurora for Coach Lance, whose brother I played for in AAU back in high school. So there was a connection there. And I was very excited to come to Aurora after they had just went 20-9 and won their conference and then beat WashU on that buzzer beater. So I was insanely excited. And I was hearing that there were a bunch of other guys coming in as well that would make huge impacts for the team. So, it was just icing on the cake right there. And then, we put together a really good roster. Unfortunately, we did have some injuries, but, we ended up winning the conference last year and made it to the tournament, which was really good. And the transition wasn't really that tough. It was tough on me because at the time I was doing a lot of rehab for my knee. And, I was just so focused on getting back to 100%, making sure that I was taking physical therapy seriously and not rushing into anything while, being at every practice, being at every game, and make sure I was, being the best teammate that I could be since I was, sitting on the sideline due to injuries. So transition for the most part really was not that tough. But it was just, it was definitely a little bit of an adjustment, especially this past year, with the new coach, with me coming back from injury, getting able to play a full season. So definitely in that regards.
Yeah, definitely. And so like you said, there was so much excitement. You got to Aurora. There was like hype behind your name around the NAC conference, getting a D2 caliber player in the NAC conference. And the D3 scene in general, unfortunately, the summer before you got to Aurora, you tore your ACL. And as I mentioned, as a hooper, and as you mentioned, there's so much excitement and urge to get out there on the court. So how did it feel to have to, you finally, you had that excitement of going to Aurora. Finally, you get there. Like you said, there's all the pieces in play. You're ready to just go there, ball out, and then you have to sit out a year. Like, how did that feel?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It was definitely tough. It was heartbreaking going to the doctors to, see my MRI. It turned out that I tore my ACL. But believe it or not, the first thing I did after I found that out, after the doctor went back outside the room, first thing I did was pray. And, I pray to God, like, I'm trusting your plan. This is, just a minor setback for a major comeback. Had that mentality. Because a lot of people, 20 years ago, a torn ACL was a career-ending injury. You couldn't return back. But now, since like the technology is so good these days, you can get back in 6 to 9 months from an injury. Mm-hmm. So I figured, obviously I'm going to sit out this year. But the more and more I thought about it, like I can definitely see, what God's plan was. He didn't want me to play all 4 years of undergrad. He wanted me, to play one more year while getting my master's degree or something like that. That's just kind of the mindset that I had towards it. I was never really down, and I had a lot of support from family, friends, and other loved ones, which made me feel really good. So, I mean, it was definitely tough. There were days mentally where I was just thinking, do I really want to risk it again? And then there were days like I want to come back and prove myself, things along that nature. But, once physical therapy got rolling and the season got rolling, I was so excited to come to practice, to, cheer on the guys, be at their games, to be a voice. And, although I wasn't playing, I was just trying to give my voice as much as possible. And I know a bunch of the guys respected me for that.
Definitely.
And I was very thankful to be put in that situation, with the guys. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want to do it again, but, that whole experience taught me a lot, built a lot of character, built a lot of mental toughness, and, I guess you could say I'm thankful that I went through it, because we all have to go through tough times in life, but that was definitely the toughest time, one of the tougher times of my life, so.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I myself, when I was in high school, had a really bad injury, had to get surgery, and, it just takes away from that excitement. And all you want to do is just get back out there. And, you were really patient about it. You took it on with a really positive approach, being around the team last year. As I mentioned before, I got to see that firsthand. And so this season, you got your chance to play under the new coach at Aurora. What did you feel was the high point of the season? Because I don't want to... there was negatives. Obviously, there's negatives in everything. But, there's obviously special moments that happen throughout the season and stuff like that. So what did you feel was the high point of the season?
Well, first, the high point that I'm going to talk about really doesn't have to do so much with basketball. It just kind of has to do more with life. But I'll get to a basketball high point afterwards.
Okay.
But I would definitely say the high point of this season was definitely how close we got, how much closer we got as a team. I've formed lifelong brotherhoods, with guys on the team, and then I got a lot closer with guys on the team that I weren't really so close with the previous year. So, I stay in contact with the guys. I know during this whole coronavirus, we're all, not stranded, but, we're all distant from each other. So it's really important that you stay in contact with them. But, this whole year, we all had to fight adversity, as a team. People on campus were calling us garbage. We were told we were the laughing stock of the school and the conference. We were just hearing a lot of negative things. Mm-hmm. But it was good because we as a team, we came together. We bared out all the storms, and we were ultimately one whole team. And I know the record obviously might not have shown it, but we grew a lot closer. We had fun with each other on and off the courts. So it was really good in that term. So I would definitely say that was the high point of the season overall. Mm-hmm. Personally, basketball-wise, it's kind of tough to say when you go 10 and 15. But, I mean, personally, I felt like, there were good games that I had that, I'll look back on and be like, I just love doing what I do. And, I just can't wait to get back out on there. on the floor, next season.
Definitely.
And yeah, I mean, really just all the good games, and I mean, regardless of the win or losses, but it was just fun looking. It's just fun looking back at that, and yeah, so that's that.
No, definitely. So you were the captain of the team this year. You were a great leader. A lot of the guys, I know looked up to you a lot. So what moment this year were you most proud of yourself personally on the court?
Well, I pride myself a lot on leadership. I know sometimes, I show it better than other times. I know sometimes I can maybe get, a little bit down, but, for the most part, I pride myself a lot on leadership. I would say, at the start, we did have some guys leave. I think I think this past year we had about 7 people leave, but they were all for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But, I would say for me personally, it was just, helping, everyone, stay closer, stay united. I know a lot of guys were having, their heads go in different directions, like questioning, the system, a lot of stuff like that. And, just making sure everyone stayed focused and stayed together, and that, we were all in this as one whole brotherhood, and just kind of not letting the focus die away from that. Because, we all love basketball. We all want to play. We all want to play together,
Mm-hmm.
And I know some relationships might be stronger than others on the team, and I completely understand that. But, just as long as you're, still getting close with the guys and you're still reaching out with them, that's just so important. And I felt like we did a tremendous job this year. And not only with myself, but I think a lot of other guys did their fair share and a great part as well.
Yeah.
So, when you say, I was the captain, I was a captain, but there were other guys also mentioning speaking their voices as well. Whether they were a freshman, whether they were a senior or a junior, whatever the case might be, they were definitely, sharing their voices as well, and everyone respected each other, which is great.
Yeah.
Because, we had voices all around giving opinions. So I just thought that was great, and I'll look back at this year, and, I was really proud of myself with kind of how I handled it personally, but I was much more proud of, the team, how they handled it. As one whole group, and how we came together, and we fought through a lot of adversity, but everyone stayed true to themselves and trusted each other and trusted themselves, and we finished the season as strong as we could. So
Definitely. So what was your most exciting game this season?
Most exciting game, probably senior night. Senior night, we played Concordia Chicago at home. It was our last game, and it's a game that I'm never going to forget. We had contributions from everyone. Me personally, it was one of my best games of the year. And then there were other people on the team that had really, really good games as well. And it was just so fun because we came together and we just played freely, and everyone was hooping. They were hooping. Everyone was comfortable. I mean, there were guys even saying, that's as comfortable as you've ever looked.
Yeah.
And I know it's crazy to say because it's the last game of the season, but I mean, you can ask guys on the team, they'll say that senior night was probably the highlight game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But there were other games too that I can go off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want me to go off the top of my head. I was just gonna pick one. Do you want me to go on more?
Yeah, sure. Sure. I mean, it's up to you if you'd like to elaborate more or not.
Yeah. Well, definitely senior night was definitely the highlight game, and then I look back at games like our comeback win against Marion. I look at games like Wisconsin Lutheran at their place. We did unfortunately lose that game, but that was a really good game for me. And then there were a couple other ones as well. But I mean, there were a lot of highs and lows to the season as well in terms of production. But for the most part, I felt like I produced really well for the team, and I had really tremendous help from other guys as well on the team that did a lot of stuff as well. So I mean, those were some of the high points of the season.
Yeah, definitely. So, what do you feel that this season, like, what do you feel you've improved most? It could be a part of your game, part of your leadership aspect.
Hmm.
Just what from this season can you take away and be like, wow, I got a lot better?
Um, I would say rebounding and leadership. Rebounding for me was something that I kind of struggled with at the Division II level. Um, Not necessarily so much of a physical attribute, but just kind of like my drive to rebound. Because
Yeah.
in high school, I was always a really good rebounder, and then I kind of shied away from it once I got to Rockhurst. And then this past year, I felt like I improved my rebounding a lot,
Hmm.
along with my defense.
Definitely.
So probably those two things for the most part. And then what was the other part of your question?
It was just that was it. It was just what do you feel like you've improved on the most
Oh,
thing this year?
I mentioned leadership too. Sorry, I got confused for a sec.
No, you're fine.
But definitely that because I wasn't really in that role at my old school, and I knew obviously it would take some time to get established at Aurora before I would come in and voice my piece a lot. But this year we had a great group of guys. And, I just felt like the opportunity was there, and I just made the most of it in regards to that. So I would definitely say, basketball-wise, definitely rebounding and defense, and then, I guess on the court and off the court leadership. So,
Definitely. So you talked about a little earlier in this interview. You talked about when you tore your ACL. You just kind of prayed and kind of had that mindset of God has a plan.
yeah.
Things happen for a reason. So that has actually played out for you in a sense. You have one more year of eligibility left, which gives you an opportunity to play it while getting your master's. So what's your plan for next year? And I know that a lot of this stuff is confidential. So if you don't want to discuss it on the interview, that's fine. You can say no. But if you do want to discuss it, what's kind of your plan looking like for next year?
Well, my plan, I do have two plans, but I'm focused on one right now, but I do have a contingency plan. Right now, I am focused on getting my master's as I have been for the last couple months. And as everyone's aware, I do have one more year to play due to my injury. So, that's just an opportunity that I don't want to pass up because I don't want to look back on it and be like, wow, I didn't, go through that 1 year
Mm-hmm.
where I could have. You only get 4 years to play, so you got to, live it up. Really, my plan is, I'm not going to mention schools just because that's very confidential at the moment. But I have had a fair share reach out to me. I've been on a lot of calls ever since this quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm weighing in a lot of pros and cons to every school. I'm hoping to have a decision really soon here.
Okay.
I'm just waiting to get accepted into a fair share of schools before I, legit make my decision. But the plan next year is to play one more year while getting my master's, while broadening my network, and ultimately getting my spot or getting myself into a spot for success after my last year. I'm not 100% sure though if I'm going to do my master's in 1 year or 2 year, depending on if a grad assistant spot might be open for 1 year after I play 1 year. So. Definitely the plan is to play one more year while getting my master's and broadening my connections and then starting work. So.
Okay, sounds good, and excited for what you do decide. So you are gonna go play at a school next year, either way. So it doesn't matter what school it is, but the school you're gonna go play to, decide you want to go play at. What can you say to them? Like, what does Will Hrubes bring to a program?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, wherever I go, I just want to be, the best person and player that I can be. I'm a very hard worker. I bring a lot of leadership skills to the table. And I just want to be the best out there. And I want to compete every day with the people next to me, or AKA my brothers, and just grind every day, whether it's preseason, off season, and I just want to build those lifelong relationships, and I want to be a part of something special. Um, you know, basketball skills wise, I mean, you can go down the list, you know, with shooting, rebounding, defense, things like that. But I mean, in a more focused picture, definitely, you know, just me working really hard, getting along with guys, getting along with the coaches, and just you know, fitting in well to an established program. So
Definitely. So, what aspect of your game, shooting, rebounding, what part comes easiest to you?
um, I would definitely say shooting. Shooting or posting up or rebounding, probably those three things.
Mm-hmm.
For me, you know, I was not a shooter in middle school. I didn't really start shooting the ball well until I got to high school. And then, you know, junior year I shot 45%, and then senior year I shot 41% from three. And then my 2 years at Rockhurst, I was high 30s. And then this past year, I think I was like 41, something around there.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I take my three-point shooting very, very seriously, as well as, you know, other parts of my games, such as posting up or getting to my fade shot or doing a post hook or something like that. And then, you know, rebounding for me, it's all about, you know, being physical and locating guys when a shot goes up. So my mindset is I always want to hit somebody and then want to get that rebound. You know, and then defensively, you know, my mindset is like, I'm not going to let this guy go past me. And then if he's going to take a tough contested shot, you know, you just tip your hat off and be like, next play. You know, you're not going to let one shot made on you determine like if you can't play defense or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm always in that mode where, you know, I want to lock up. I want to play as best defense as I possibly can. I don't want to let anyone drive by me. You know, I want to be on weak side, getting ready to take a charge. You know, things of that nature. So, you know, I pride myself a lot on defense. I know this past year there were some games that showed it and some games that didn't show it as much. And, you know, my biggest area that I want to improve on is 100% consistency every single game with defense. And that's not a knock on my defense at all. I'm just saying, like, there were games that you could completely see stood out that, you know, my defense was really good.
Yeah.
And then there were other games where you'd be like, well, he played better defense this game, not so much this game. But that's just something that I want to improve on completely. But yeah, I mean, definitely, you know, the rebounding, 3-point shooting, you know, posting up, defense, and you know, like I'll try to drive to the hole, you know, from time to time. You know, if I get that lane, you know, and try to make a play from that. But for the most part, you know, I find a lot of my success coming off of either catch and shoot or a couple dribbles into a pull-up three, or you know, my fadeaway shot in the post or a hook or anything at the paint, getting to the free throw line. So.
No, definitely. So, if you didn't, just a quick question: if you didn't play basketball, what sport would you play?
Well, if I didn't play basketball, I really like soccer, but I'm really bad at it. So I don't really know how much better I would have gotten at it, because soccer is probably one of my favorite sports besides basketball, just because I play so much FIFA.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would probably play soccer. I know a lot. I know not a lot of soccer players are really that tall. So I mean, I guess you could say I would stand out on the pitch, but. Yeah, I would probably have to go with soccer. I used to play baseball for 2 years. I did enjoy that. I could have probably pursued that a little bit more, but at the time I just wanted to pursue basketball. So I would say probably either soccer or baseball.
Okay. So, which NBA player would you say you tried to role model your game after?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Kevin Love. Kevin Love is a really good power forward. He's an outside shooter. He can rebound really well. He's physical. He plays defense. Kevin Love is someone I've always kind of modeled my game after a little bit. You know, starting in high school to kind of where I'm at now. It's not to say that I watch Kevin Love on a basis, but you know, if I had to pick an NBA player, that would definitely be the one that I would pick. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like he does a lot of what I do. Obviously, way better since he's a pro.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have to go with Kevin Love.
Definitely. So, what is basketball? Just to kind of wrap things up here, Kind of the last question I have for you here is, what has basketball taught you that carries into other areas of your life?
Yeah, it's taught me a lot of skills, such as leadership skills, teamwork, building those bonds with your guys. It's a great team sport,
Mm-hmm.
and if you get guys to buy in, it's that much better.
Yeah.
But there's always a beauty in the struggle, whether it's adversity, injuries, not winning, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been a part of, some pretty good programs all around. I've been a part of, a really successful high school program that's, top 20 in the nation. I was part of them for 4 years. At Rockhurst, it was pretty much nothing before Coach Diener got there, and then now it's starting to turn around pretty well. So now they're starting to become a top team in the GLVC. I was a part of a good program and a great coach there for 2 years, and then coming to Aurora, which is a very, very good program. Historically, with the 26 consecutive winning seasons, all the MAC titles, you can go down the list. So I've been a part of some great programs, and there's definitely been adversity in every program that I've been in. And I just feel like that just makes me a lot stronger mentally, to overcome obstacles. But, the good thing is when you fight that adversity, you're not fighting it alone. Okay, you're fighting it with your brother next to you, you're fighting it with your family. You could even say you're fighting it with your coaches. But it's really taught me a lot. It's taught me, you got to work hard to be successful. And if you do that, you're going to really enjoy the results. You're going to create a lot of lifelong brotherhoods, that you can genuinely say, like, hey, look, he'll be invited to my wedding, or hey, look, I'm going to invite him over for dinner, or something like that, things of that nature. But, it's definitely taught me a lot, and, I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I'm just so thankful that the game of basketball has brought me such amazing friends, and then just has helped me build a lot of my character and just made me work as hard as possible.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was amazing what you just said, and I can even say that's how me and you met, was through the game of basketball. So, I mean, I just wanted to end this off by saying, thank you a lot. You were one of the first 10 followers on this page. I remember when I first made this page last year, you were one of my first 10 followers. So thank you for, all the support you've given me. And everybody who's going to see this live or on the live, thank you. If you haven't already, go check out that shoe giveaway. I'm going to pick the winner on Sunday. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. And then I think we got something special of Will coming soon, so stay tuned for that. Not only a commitment, but of mix coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. And
yes, sir.
Anyways, thank you, Will. Appreciate it.
Thanks, AR, and shout out AR for the 1K, and nothing but a bunch of hard work coming from him, and a lot of bright things coming AR's way for the future, and continue working hard, my boy. Hope you're doing well. Good to hear from you, and thanks, for having me on here, and stay tuned. I'm excited.
Of course. Thank you so much. All right. Take it easy.
See you.